I can't believe I'm doing this video, but I have, like, I've got no other choice. It's July 17th, 2020. It's Friday. Oh, I can't even see what the damn time is at this point over here. It's 5:35 at night. And I'm watching the movie Big Chill. I have to stop this. The Big Chill is done in the early 80s. All-star cast. All-star cast. Revolves around a college friend who passed away by suicide. And the college friends are spending the weekend at a home talking about him, about their lives, the past and the future. They reconcile a lot of things at the home from their feelings towards their friend Alex. I understand it was played by Kevin Costner. And it hits me so damn hard because it was my brother's my favorite movie. We liked the music on it. It was back in 1968, and there was a lot of good tunes back then. We listened to the movie because of the music. When we listened to different form, we listened to different music, and that would always come around on the rock stations. We'd listen to them. And the Big Chill was covering a tune my brother would relate to. He was a young kid, but he listened to that music back then. Marvin Gaye was one of them. Rolling Stones, he wasn't exactly quite thrilled with. But he did like Marvin Gaye. No, it hits me, the whole damn thing is my brother is not here and I'm seeing him in the damn casket. I'm seeing him in the casket. I'm watching the movie, and it's taken me years just to see the movie again. I could have ordered it online. I could have bought the damn DVD. But I felt maybe it was appropriate for me to see it, even though it was going to be putting me through a damn gut rusher at this point. Because this movie was not only about a character named of Alex, it's also a guy named David Shaw, my brother. We didn't have any friends that would memorialize him all that much. We didn't have a group of friends like that. All of his friends are gone or dead. My friends are just, I don't know about them. But I do know that some people would actually do care about him, but they didn't. They didn't even bother to come by over to the home to see how the hell he was doing. At least a few friends had, just very few, but not many. And the one special family just never did, even though I told them about it. It just never bothered to get in contact with me ever again. That's what hurts the most. And in watching the Big Chill, I'm watching my brother and me watching this, listening to the tunes. We had gotten the soundtrack of it, and we had listened to it a great deal in our later stage adulthood. And it was a movie that we felt okay with. I don't feel okay, but I still felt it was necessary for me to see this thing because it's putting me through an emotional gut wrench. And I don't know how to handle it. But to continue watching it. It's bad enough seeing a funeral situation at this point over here where Alex was in a casket taken over to a mortuary and then be buried. So the hardest damn thing for me to see is my mother being handed to me in an urn. Or my brother at the same time. and knowing that there was never a memorial service for either one of them. Dave kind of believed that he didn't want to have a memorial service for Mama, just a living memorial. How they try to live their lives. I try to keep with that custom at this point over here, but maybe it should have been having a memorial service for my mother and my brother to talk about them. And it's hard as hell because in some of my videos and audio recordings I've done, and I've done a hell of a lot of audio recordings over the years, and I've talked about my family, and some of the videos I've gotten over here, I've talked about how my brother was, my mother, how we grew up. And when I start talking about him in that kind of fashion, sometimes it does hurt. But in seeing the movie Big Chill, it really puts a strain on my heart and a strain on me at this point over here. I know I still need to see it. I have to see it. I have to get some kind of closure of some sort. I have to move on. I need to move on. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of feeling like I have to grieve all the damn time. Of having an emotional trigger just knocks my ass out and I can't even think about my friends. Or I can't even think about anything else. I can't even think about my family without freaking out. Something will trigger inside of me and I will cry my eyeballs out and I can't stop it. And I see the movie The Big Chill. The most wonderful picture to see of an ensemble of characters and of actors and a hell of a plot on how they're looking at their lives. And in looking at that, it's looking at me. Because I'm one of the survivors there. I'm trying to understand what the hell's going on. But I feel like I don't have the support as they had around them. And that's what hurts to me the most at this point over here. And I can't even memorialize my brother enough. Or even try to come up with the right words to say wonderful and then say rotten, ugly things about the bastard. But for what it's worth, he was my big brother. He was my protector. My best friend. In the last several years of his life, my charge. And I would not throw away those years. I will not throw away those years and those memories regarding him. I have done a lot in my time, but nothing to be noteworthy about. I can say to people that I have been a caregiver and that I have been a best friend to a guy can ever have. And in saying that and in doing so, I look at his pictures from back then, and I also look at his pictures before he passed away. I always say him, David, where's Sean? 1 year before he passed away. Actually, I think it was the same year he passed away. It was. And he had... Show you another picture. Two favorite things of his. What he's got in his hand and what he has in the corner in his sleeve. can of Coke. Can of Coke. We had been through a hell of a lot. We had been through too much. And I just wish to God I had more time with him. But I had what I had. I had what I had with him. And there were good times. I just don't know how to, well, one thing I'm going to embarrass myself with. Halloween several years ago. Yeah. My brother was very military. But he was also civilian-minded too, and he was a great supporter of the military. My brother was a class clown at one time. He served his country as a Navy SEAL, even though he never showed his uniform to anybody like that. But he was fond of wearing it years later, just to show people that he had served. The military may say otherwise, and there may be some stolen honor people may say otherwise. But I will tell you one thing. They will never take these away. Never. They will never. It's my brother. He earned them. And he lost them. But he kept them in here. And he was very proud. Very, very proud of what he served. Now, it was taken a few years before he was really disabled at that point, where he couldn't get around as much. I have earlier pictures of him, but I'm not going to embarrass him all that much. Except to say, there's one particular picture that still means a damn to me these days. Our mother, Eleanor Shaw, who she was known as MARYANN Shaw. That picture I have a black and white of. He had a hell of a lot of stories inside of him. And on a lot of audio recordings, I've been trying to get a lot of them out. Of who and what he was. In the month of July is where his disability regarding a stroke was really coming out. Little by little. Mobility, speech. And it was becoming harder and harder. And I was willing to tough it out. I wasn't about to put him into a nursing home. We weren't about to do that. We didn't do it for Ma. And we sure as hell didn't do it for my brother. He said he was going to do something. He was going to do something. He didn't make a promise. He made fact. He was an asshole to some people and a nice guy to others. Before he was recovering from drugs and alcohol, he was a royal asshole, and you wouldn't want to deal with him during the day or nighttime. I had to see him through before he got into the military because he was my big brother and he protected me, and 8 years difference between us. He was taking care of his little brother. His baby brother, as he called him. As he called me a lot of times in his adult life. I miss that. He wasn't a born leader. He was just didn't take anything from anybody. Ma needed help dealing with Grandma when she got ill and bedridden because of a stroke. Ma couldn't deal with her. Ma was trying to deal with her as best she could, but she wasn't physically able to, and deal with me at the same time while my brother was in the military. My brother struggled with the military and Salvation Army and Red Cross and everybody else to get him out. They wouldn't do it, so he did it himself. He had to pay the price for it too. Came back, still took care of Mama. He paid the price by getting out in the military early, having the bad conduct discharge, and almost zero chance of him getting it upgraded down the road. Despite everybody else trying to tell the military what he had done and what was necessary, the military saw it otherwise. But he never badmouthed the country. Administrators, that's a different story altogether. Maybe the command chain but he was fiercely loyal to his family. He was fiercely loyal to the country, to the Constitution that he swore. But he chose family over the damn military, and the military said, forget it. My brother may not have died a hero in the terms of the Navy, but he did his job in the Navy, whatever it was, whatever asked him to do. But some things he wouldn't go beyond, and you don't screw with family. And apparently the Navy family wasn't understanding that, because at home family priorities needed to be taken care of. And the military wasn't, at the time, in the late 70s, willing to deal with him. In the 80s, actually. The military chain of command was a lot different and harsher. And they didn't give my brother a chance. No matter how many times throughout the decades he tried to appeal before he passed away, it was always lost in the mail. Always lost in the paper shuffle. There's no chance for me to get it upgraded at this point because I don't have the paperwork here. I don't have any of the documents necessary. I don't have all the statements necessary because those were lost as well. I can't change the Navy's mind on what my brother had did. He was sorry, and he tried to apologize as best as he could. He never got the chance to talk to the Admiralty or to review boards, either in San Francisco or in San Diego. But I'm not going to hold it against him either. My brother died with a Budweiser on his chest. I made sure of that. He died a SEAL. He died serving his country, but he died serving his family as well and serving God. And it is a hell of a tribute. I can tell you many more stories about him, but he would give his life, and damn near did. He gave more than what they asked. And it was my solemn privilege to take care of him the last several years of his life. I did the best I could. And I regretted that there was not more I could have done for him. I could not have prevented him regarding his type 2 diabetes. We already had that in the family going. Genetics. And obesity ran in the family as well. But he managed in his youth to keep it down. And when he got older, it got worse. My brother, sometimes it's kind of hard to find the words to say about someone that meant a damn to you, and that you would give everything for him. And I did. Because I thought he was worth it. Done the same thing for me. So how many times we would have chided each other. There had been times we'd gone to blows. Only verbal blows. Stood toe to toe. And we walked away from each other to cool off, to figure out what the hell happened. But we still had to realize we were still brothers. We weren't going to try killing each other. Ma was still around and still able to get around. She would tell us boys to knock it off. Sometimes she would side with one, sometimes she'd side with the other, and sometimes she'd side with neither, and then we'd gang up on her. It's kind of hard to eulogize my brother, because there's so much stuff to say and the emotions are blocking everything that I can't quite put it into words. I can't quite explain the things that would make people understand what kind of a guy he was. Growing up as a kid, he had emotional troubles. He couldn't figure out why Mom was struggling like crazy trying to find a place to live and a place to work, and then always handing him over to the other relatives for long periods of time because she was struggling trying to keep a place and trying to make a place for him. And when I came around, it wasn't easy on him because I was screaming and yelling my head off because I don't know what the hell I was screaming and yelling my head off, but every time they would come into the damn room and I'm about 1 or 2 years old, I'm screaming my head off. Grandma would be yelling at my brother, and my brother wouldn't be understanding it. He had to go to UCLA at one time to get a handle on his emotions and to figure out what the hell was going on. And my mother had to go to UCLA to learn how to handle him. For a few years, we started to understand each other a little bit. And they started looking at me not as a problem, but a responsibility. He Because now he had somebody to watch over. And he did that for a long while. And when he got into the military, he changed. He changed a great deal. Combat does that to a person. And sometimes he changed for the wrong kind of reason. But his heart was still there. His mind was still conflicted. When he theoretically finally got out, but he never did get out. It was a long-term discharge until they needed his ass again for another war. But the drugs and alcohol did a number of stuff to him until about 1985. We're sober. September 18. September 19, I'm sorry. 1985. 30 plus years of sobriety. 30 plus years to learn and grow. If only the Navy knew what kind of a person he was before he died. Maybe they would have helped change his discharge around it. My brother did a lot for a lot of people. Only I guess they'll never know. My mother, different story altogether, a different tape. Did a lot of tapes on her as well. And I'll tell you one thing, my brother and I had to work on accepting her death before she passed away. Because he kept telling me about I had to accept Ma in the passing when it happens. Because it was going to tear us apart like crazy. And it did. It was the most difficult thing for me to go through was my mother's death. But every child, when they lose a parent, has to. I was with my mother all my life. She died in February 2013. The official date was the 19th. The first date was actually on the 1st. The fire department brought her back to life into a semi-existence. She was still not there. Her body was still dying. Her brain was gone. And it was hard for me and my brother to accept that notion. Even after her death, it was hard for us to deal with it. We tried to deal with it. We tried to cope. We had other things happening. We had an eviction happening. We were living in an apartment for lasted 5 years of her life, and we got evicted out of it. Sued, settlement. I moved up to Roseman from Lancaster. Got a trailer home, scammed out of it for after nearly a year and a half, and then homeless for months, living in a motel. Generosity of others. It was Veterans Group and a Salvation Army that helped us get into an apartment where I'm currently living in right now. It wasn't home. Not really. But Dave tried to make it a home for myself. For the both of us. I wished I had. last portion of my brother's life, the last several months of his life. Really tried to make it at home before he got disabled with a stroke. Tried to make it a home. I guess right now I haven't made it into a home for myself because I don't know how. When I lost my brother, I lost everything. I had to fight like crazy trying to keep the same roof over the head, fight bed bugs, fight depression, fight grief. Try to keep myself busy by going back to school when I could. Back to college, my brother forced a promise. It says, promise me, no matter whatever happens, you continue to go to college, John, regardless of what happens. I couldn't promise him that, but I've been trying to keep it ever since. Hasn't been easy. I haven't been keeping what I should be keeping entirely neat and dandy. Not really. Nor have I kept myself inside neat and dandy because I'm just as... The environment is just reflective as my inside is. Inside my heart and my head. It's just a constant state of reflection. And I've been trying to deal and cope ever since. It hasn't been easy. You might call this a eulogy for the dead and the living. But I had to do this. Eventually, I knew there was going to be a day that was going to be coming. I just didn't realize that. I see a part of a movie that I'd seen for so many years, and I've got the soundtrack to it. I know the storylines backward and forwards concerning about the movie, but it's just the movie itself. And seeing the first 10 to 15 minutes, it just got to me. It got to me, and I had to break down. I had to get this off my chest. I had to do something. I don't know why. I don't know how. I had to do something. And that just could not function. And I could not deal. I sure as hell couldn't cope. That makes me a fool and an idiot, I guess maybe I am. I'm not going to start demanding anything. I'm not going to start saying that I deserve. No, I don't. What I am saying is I miss my mother a great deal, but I miss more my brother even worse. Because we two have been through so much together that we had become the closest friends and brothers we could have ever been. Other people would have a long time animosity towards their siblings. And we could have had that, but we didn't. We fought verbally, yeah. We got angry at each other. We had to shake it off, get over with it, find out what the hell happened, agree to disagree or something else like that, and just say, fuck it. Move on. The hardest damn thing for me to do is move on. Because I can't say what I just said. I'm stuck in the past. I am emotionally trapped because I don't know how to move on forward. And it's hard to do. Every day is a struggle. Some days are better than others. And today became hard because I saw the movie. I've got the soundtrack I can listen to. I listen to the music like crazy when I'm in the better moods for it. And Marvin Gaye sticks in the head, that's for sure. And it reminds me too much of the movie I've seen so many times in my life. But it also reminds me of my brother too much. Because we've watched it and we listened to that music over and over and over again. It became part of ourselves. And it makes me relate more and more to the characters I see in the screen, which makes it even harder. Which makes the movie a lot more poignant and difficult to go through the entire movie. I may have to order the DVD just to clutch onto it. What's even just as bad as saying A League of Their Own. Because there was a song at the end of it that Madonna has sung in there. It reflects both my mother and my brother. In the past that we had. It used to be our playground. The movie's delightful. The song at the end is haunting. And it tears me up because I made a memorial video for my mother. It was bad enough I made a memorial video for my brother. And I still have them. And I'm still afraid to share them. Of their lives. Because they hurt like hell. I may have to do that one day. I'm just not sure if today's ready for it. I have made a lot of recordings about my own life. What I've gone through and some videos of what I've been through. What I'm currently going through. So I figure those are my tributes, my eulogies of sorts. My memoriams. But there's no way in hell I can memorialize my brother, or even eulogizing him, or even my mother. It was hard enough for me carrying their ashes around my neck for over a year. Before the chain broke, it was the leather. I got them in a box in there. And it has to be small ashes. Big representation. It's like watching two damn albatrosses ready to be hung around my damn neck. Coleridge's story of the rime of the ancient mariner, I call it. Of crime, I don't know that I committed. But the sentence was having the guilt and the grief and the pain and the loss and everything else around my neck. And that's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel right now. I don't know if this is relatable to anybody these days. I don't know if they care or not. I know my videos are probably sour and dour to a lot of people. I don't make any videos that pep people up. I'm sorry. This is my reality. This is how I am. They probably call me the most depressed person, so be it. But I just wanted to express to anybody else that's going through the damn grief process, through the triggers, we're all in it. We all know it. We're all there. We're all surviving one way or another. The horrible thing about the movie about Big Chill is seeing the main character, the one they keep talking about, Alex, passing away. He was getting discouraged in this life and he decided to chuck it all. Because the one scene you see is stitches on his arm that was being covered up. That's his form of saying, Screw life. I've had enough. Doesn't mean a damn thing to me anymore. He didn't see anything beyond what he had, or his depression. So he killed himself. And the movie is based off of that. The reactions of the friends who knew and loved him, and their interactions with each other, and how they move forward. I haven't yet. I struggled through college. Now it's online. I struggled with dealing with teachers, with students, with faculty, with staff, with a campus, with food. I had been through it before, 30 plus years ago. Screwed it up 2.5 years. 30 plus years later, I'm coming back to repair the damage. And my family's not there to see if there's going to be any end result. But I made a promise to him I'll be finishing this up, and I will. I don't feel any better about this. I don't feel good about this. But it doesn't mean I'm going to have to kill myself over it either. I had to get this off my chest. I had to say something. There is too much crap going on in the world right now that can put a person into a damn depressional headlock. Close everything else up around him and just, that's me. That's me. Hide from everything and everybody with all this damn negativity, things being said left and right. And I can't afford, under any level, to deal with that. I sure as hell don't want to live like that either. I want to live, damn it. I want to live. I want to at least do something in my life that means a damn to me. Besides to my family, to me. I'm still aspiring somewhat, which I need to get the flame restarted again to write. I got stuff. I still need to have people look at it to see if it's worth publishing or not. I need to get a degree just for me. Just to say I actually did complete this damn thing, even though it's been too long and I may not be able to do anything with it. But for me, at least I would be able to say I did something in my life and I'm damn proud of it. Maybe the lowest common denominator of a diploma, but at least I could say, at least I did this. And I would know my mother and my brother would be happy. I could have made a hell of a lot better choices if I did this a long time ago. But they also know I kicked my ass too many damn times, and I want to do something positive for them, but for me. I still want to travel. I want to cruise. I want to go back to Disneyland. I want to go back to Universal Studios. I want to do something with some things I did in my life and other things I still want to do in my life. And I'm trying to keep positive. Regardless of the challenges I have in my neighborhood, in my own area I live in, despite the challenges I've got in the town and city, state, nation, despite everybody else trying to tear each other apart one way or another, I still have to have faith in myself. And I know my family has faith in me. So if that's going to be a hell of a eulogy and a thing, this statement from my brother, then so be it. So be it. John Weaver, Roseman, California.